Hello everybody. Welcome to the Motion Design Hotline here on Behance. We are on the pirate feed today, so that means we can do whatever we want. Things are going to get crazy. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Spectacular.
Good, good. Now,
Yes.
today we will be deploying the latest and greatest in motion design improv technology. I've created for our amusement the Concept-O-Tron 3000. A great improvement over the previous model. How are you feeling about submitting to the tasks of our robotic overlords today?
Well, I'm a little apprehensive about what it's going to spit out. I will say that I have done some similar kind of motion design improv exercises before where you just kind of do some random things. For example, our other game, Effects Roulette. And you just see what you get, and then you have to work with it. So it's not all that different, but
That's why
knowing that some of the categories seem at odds with each other is is where my nervousness comes in.
Well, it's also why the motto of the show is you get what you get, and you don't get upset when you play motion design roulette. So that's part of it. Kyle, how about I just unveil the machine and we can get into explaining to the good audience what's going on here.
I hope that you animated a little red curtain to reveal it, because otherwise I'm going to be very upset.
Didn't do it. I didn't do a lot of things. I spent way more time trying to code this thing instead. Yeah. Which it turns out the solution was a lot easier than I thought. But here's what we got. We have a little slider control input where I can just put in the whatever random seed that we want, and then that's going to rotate these cylinders here. So, just as a little test, what if I put in number 1, right? What is the number 1th version of this? Then we press play, and you can see our rotors are spinning. And
you need some sound effects for that.
Sorry,
kind of like make it sound like a chainsaw or gas generator or something.
And then once they spin themselves all the way through, they're going to eventually land on an excellent outcome, as they always do. Mm-hmm. And in this case, it is spun up Cyberpunk Pet Influencer title card, I think is what we had there. So yeah, we could have a Cyberpunk Pet Influencer title card. But if we change our slider control here, say to a 2, it would come up with a hand-drawn true crime lower third. So we've got...
Because, as we all know, Evan, computers can't actually generate randomness. They use algorithms to approximate it, and so you feed them what's called a seed to decide sort of which version of the randomness it chooses from. So that's how you can control it.
Yeah.
In things like Wiggle, for example.
Yeah, so, I mean, if people want to get into the guts of this thing, like I've rigged these up to make use of the essential properties, so we can actually copy and paste audience suggestions into this if people want to help us fill up a lot of these things with stuff. Mm-hmm. Hey, help us fill up these things with stuff. And specificity is the soul of narrative here today. But if we go into one of the rollers, I just want to show you real quick. I want to marvel, revel in my own crumulence here, how this thing kind of works. I've got this X rotation, which is providing that kind of like tilt one way and then kind of rock the other way, adding a little bit of extra zhuzh to this. And then I've got a slider going on in here, and this slider is just running from 0 to 100. Which, if we come into the content of this, we've got some fun things here that are really just linearly remapping from no rotation to whatever the rotation would be to give us a random quotes result. So, and it kind of hides that shifting in the tumbling middle section. So. Anyway, that's a bit of a roundabout way to say we've already eaten up 5 minutes of the program, Kyle. So it's oopsie-doodle.
Well, that's okay. You know what? We could go 5 minutes long if we want to, because this is our pirate feed.
That's true. That's true. No one can stop us from doing these things.
Except ourselves. And our future selves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And also, good to see people hanging out. So, be cool, Theo. How you doing? And who? Welcome, welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for hanging out with us. So, step one: do y'all have any suggestions for what we should be putting in some of these cylinders? I'll talk you through what we've got here, Kyle. We've got on offer the first cylinder is actually that's the last cylinder. I should start at the beginning. So the first cylinder is style. So what kind of stylistic things, what kind of like, not maybe genre isn't the right way, but you know, what kind of coat of paint are we putting on this?
Yeah.
So I've got VHS era, we've got hand drawn, I put modernist, cyberpunk, mixed media, corporate Memphis. I don't know, is there anything? Oh, vaporwave. Someone's calling out vaporwave. So, you know, I can due to the power of technology, vapor wave. There we go.
Like that's not too far away from cyberpunk, but
Yeah, I feel like vaporwave is optimistic, whereas cyberpunk is pessimistic.
true.
So there we go. Now we've got in the first cylinder, we've got some vaporwave in there, and it'll, you know. Now obviously I can't put too many things in. I think maybe like 8 or 9 is maybe the max, and then the cylinder starts to look a little weird. But there we go. So we've got some vaporwave. And if anybody else has other style suggestions, drop them in now, or forever hold your peace.
Now.
No, we'll be asking people for it forever. I don't know, Kyle. Are there any styles that you want to drop in there?
I mean, this might be a challenge in the time constraints, but you could. Well, I was going to say photo real, but that could be tricky. What about sort of like surreal or exaggerated?
Okay.
Or maybe cartoony. I mean, those aren't all the same thing, but they're kind of working towards the same goal. Like something that's more goofy than, and playful.
Okay. I'm going to put Disneyfied in here. I think I'll do that.
Okay, there you go.
All right, so let's get down to the bottom. And
I like this the suggestion from the chat, burnt out motion designer.
Right, and I think that's going to work nicely for one of our other categories here. Sorry, so make sure that I've got that in there. Okay, so we've got some good styles. One of them is who we are doing this work ostensibly for, like what kind of a client. And yeah, so that has pet influencer, sports team. Maybe we're making graphics for a board game, something, a true crime, something, an app, a podcast. I like Burnout. I'm just going to put Burnout designer because I don't think we have as much horizontal space. And of course, people get burnt out in all kinds of things. Take care of your mental health, everybody.
Yeah.
Or don't. The modern world does not support it.
Turn that into your own influencer shtick.
Yeah. Make your brand being super tired all the time. Oh my God. I don't want to tell tales out of school, but Kyle, when a mutual friend of ours said someone suggested they lean into their lifestyle, I was like, man, that sucks. Don't do that. Anyway. Let's go. What do we got? We've got pet influencer, sports team. Anything, Kyle, for you? Helicopter mom podcast. Okay. I'm gonna put momfluencer in here.
Yeah, that is a great genre.
There's no end of bad parenting advice available to you on the internet. I love it. All you got to do is just make it your entire life.
Do we have like obnoxious streamer bro in there?
We could put stream. I'm gonna put streamer.
Because I mean that's definitely like a specific type of client, and a kind of a specific set of assets that you would need to create for that. Not too far away from I think you have emotes in the third one. But...
Yeah. But everybody needs, I'm going to put streamer with 3s instead of E's so that we really know. Draw the rest of the owl. Okay, so I think we've got that cylinder nice and filled up with interesting things, so that'll be good. Our final cylinder is what are we even doing? What are we making for this person in this style, right? So... We've got lower third. Obviously, everyone loves a lower third.
Mm-hmm.
A looping GIF. Now, whatever. I'm imagining for looping GIF, that's maybe like a full frame type of deal,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
I put down emote, but I was thinking more like an alpha graphic type of like.
Yeah, it could be like Instagram stickers as
Yeah.
well, or
Actually,
yeah.
you know what? I'm going to change emote to sticker because I think that is.
Okay.
Because the idea in my mind was something that shows up and goes away instead of
Yeah.
something that loops, and that very clearly has an alpha component to it that's meant to go
Agree.
over stuff. Like some crying emoji, like that'll just pop up whenever,
Yeah.
which we'll probably use quite a lot on this. Stream. Um, I once did kids YouTube content for a pot that used to smoke in the office. See, that sounds like a cool gig. Put it quotes.
Yeah. I hope you got paid
In money.
tens of dollars
Yeah.
for that. Yeah.
I hope you got paid currency for that.
Currency. Yeah.
I can't talk too much, Kyle. I live in the 420 friendly country of Canada. So you're lucky that I'm not just blazing it all the time. All right, so because my lungs would fall out and I would die. So looping GIF, sticker, logo reveal I've got on
Mm-hmm.
here, which obviously is going to preclude us needing to like come up with a logo, right? Or to find or generate a logo in some way. Text treatment, that feels pretty generic, but it could be for like, I was thinking, maybe this is going to be for call outs, or maybe it's going to be for, somewhere. Now, text treatment,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty close to lower third, but I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be the same thing though. So that's I think that's good
Yeah.
to separate.
And then we've got title card, which specifically would be like, this is a full frame
Mm-hmm.
type of deal, right? So, is there anything that I've missed? Is there anything that should be in here? Anything that feels kind of in vogue or of the moment that people
Yeah.
are needing?
Well, unless the chat comes up with anything, I wonder something that might be trying to think how to genericize this. Something that could be like background graphics, which you
yeah.
could use either for like a live event or for, streams or something like that, where it's like supportive content and not necessarily the hero element.
I'm gonna put BGGFX, right? Because that's usually what that
Transition we got from the chat, which is a good call.
is. Exactly. That's excellent. Yeah, a little wipe on, wipe off. Less stress on the chat. Listen, we're here to outsource labor to you, the chat. We're on our grind set today.
If you don't like it, you can go get a job on some other streams chat channel.
Then no, Kyle, they all pay way better than us. Don't do that. We can't compete in this marketplace of ideas. Okay. So, subtitles.
Did we say subtitles? I don't think so. Which is a kind of text treatment,
Yeah.
but
Hold on, let me just click off and see if the cylinder is getting overloaded.
it's full. Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking pretty.
Now, do you have this set up so that it recognizes like how many entries you have in there?
I sure do. It works for
Look at
N
you,
entries.
fancy pants.
Oh yeah. So Kyle, you hyped me to this actually. This is the line that allows me to pull the number of lines in a text.
Yes, I remember this question coming up now.
So this comp.layer content.text.source text, and then
Cool.
here's where it gets fun. So this is really just pointing to the text, and then split, and then how are we splitting this bunch of garbage in here? Dot length. Now I had to grab this from the forums because this is really specific.
A lot.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a big string of logic, right? That it's trying to parse out. But the important one is this N thing, which is for line break. So it's literally hunting for how often a line break happens and is returning that to us. But yeah, it's a pretty. I don't know. There's so much great stuff if you go on like W3 schools or you're looking up. It's all JavaScript, baby. So
Yeah.
hope people enjoy that.
It's mostly JavaScript, baby. Expressions has a few things that don't exist elsewhere, and vice versa. But
Right.
yes.
Yeah. There's some objects and stuff, but like Yeah, and there are objects that are obviously unique to this system that we're kind of playing in. But yeah, anyway, it's a lot of fun. It's good. Okay, so we've got our wheels. They're full of stuff. I'm going to hit save so that we've got them. And then I will... we got to give it a... We need a random seed for today. So I'm trying to think. Just 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess, is a pretty good...
Yeah, that works as good as any other. And then, if we did like... I don't know, does 20 minutes seem like too short? That would take us to about an hour and then a little bit of spill for us to chatter about it.
Yeah, I think that's enough. I think we want to do that. And okay. I because I have brought this madness to us, will volunteer to go first. That will give you time to prepare and to heckle and just to have a fun time. But we actually have, Kyle, we have a real question in the chat.
Yeah.
So rare.
Real question.
When you parent source text to other texts, it automatically paragraph aligns the child to the left. What to do to inherent paragraph aligning of the parent? That is...
I'm not positive that that's possible. However, I will quickly show you something that you may or may not be aware of. So we'll just say second thing. Sorry for the terrible typing here. Let's go ahead and open both of those up. And so we'll make the second thing be right aligned. And I'll put it over here so that we know that it's right aligned.
Right.
And this one's left aligned. So you can link one layer's source text to another layer's source text, and it will inherit that. You know what? Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and make this noticeably different just so that we are doing something else. I'm going to change this from my favorite Azo Sans to good old Comic Sans. There we go. So that you can see much more what we're doing. So here it is taking the text from the parent layer. Not really a parent, but we'll call it a parent here. But retaining its own style.
Right.
However, you can put a period after this and type style, and then it will take the style, but not the text. And then you can combine both of those. However, I believe that paragraph is independent of character style. And so there's no way to, I don't think that it should be inheriting that. But I will give this recommendation. So I am a big fan because of the way that text works, where it actually aligns to the baseline. And especially if you are, trying to link this text to something else. I have this little, I'll just pull it up and then talk through it. This little expression that I like to use, where you use source rect on a text layer's anchor point to look at itself and then center that anchor point. But you could also, in this case, so I'm not going to get all the way into source rect, but it's saying, look at the left side and then add the width of this thing divided by 2, which would get you, so the left side and then half of the width puts you in the middle, right?
Yeah.
But you could get rid of that. And let's say I'll get rid of this too. And in this case, it's going to always put the anchor point in the top left corner, regardless of what the paragraph panel actually says. So you could kind of circumvent the paragraph panel and force your anchor point to be in a specific place, which might, this person is saying that it doesn't, that there's some issues with Text Evo, which is a specific add-on. This is probably getting a little deeper down the rabbit hole than we want to go. But I am a big fan of using this to force my text layer's anchor point to be where I want it and not, crucially, this way, when you alter the text, you're not sort of subject to the whims of where that anchor point actually lies now, because your text might be a different size than it was.
That's true. Now, I'm going to say this. There've been a few updates to the presets in After Effects. So we jump over to Evan's screen.
I know some smart people that made some of those.
Yeah, and they're super attractive and very interesting. And you should... Anyway, so one of them, if you find the lock anchor point and drop that on something, that is going to perform similar tasks. It's a little bit heavier, right? Because it's based on this drop down menu, and it's doing like 9 iterations of the thing. But hey, you can force your anchor point to all sorts of places. And yeah, check out the Evan Abrams YouTube channel if you want to learn something.
Yeah, that guy's pretty good.
Yeah, he's all right. He's fine. Pay attention to the content of what younger Evan says, not so much the jokes and japes that young Evan thought was funny. So anyway, Kyle, did we ever run that roller? Or did we get totally sidetracked? I think we
we got pretty sidetracked. I don't know if we actually ran it.
Okay.
I have a 20-minute timer waiting to be started for
Okay.
whatever that's worth.
Thank goodness. Okay, run the rollers. Bam, bam, bam. We have a cyberpunk sports team text treatment.
Huh. Okay. Well, honestly, I think that works pretty well.
Okay, a cyberpunk sports team text treatment. Okay, so I guess timer starts now.
Yeah, go.
Okay, so step one, cyberpunk sports team text treatment. What do sports teams end up using sort of text for? I feel like this is the sort of thing.
Crowd prompts.
Yeah. Oh, you're thinking jumbotron, right? Like make some noise. My head went to like sports, like score graphics and stuff like that.
That works too. I mean, I think whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. Okay. That's where I'm going. I'm going with some score graphics. So that means that I would need like some numbos out here, and I basically want the numbers to be shifting from one type of a thing to the next type of a thing, in a kind of cyberpunky kind of way that it'll.
I smell glitch.
Yeah, I think. Yeah. What sport? Tag, golf, Quidditch. Now the scoring scheme of Quidditch is pretty roundly panned for being quite bad. It's almost as if Just Kidding Rowling is not familiar with sports.
If we're talking like, is obviously cyberpunk is supposed to be the style, but you could have that be sort of the genre of the sport as well. And then it's going to be some sort of like death ball or, some dystopian sport where people are playing for their lives or food rations or some awful thing.
Now, Kyle, some people will say, well, aren't we talking about esports, right? Well, no, because that's something that exists in our current timeline.
But it could get so much worse.
Yeah. What I'm talking about is the fusion of human and machine, like the excellent Gerard Butler vehicle Gamer. I think that's the one where the man is a prisoner and he's trapped in a game, right?
That sounds rightish. I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
Laser kill is a suggestion for the game.
Oh, I love that. Laser kill. 59. Oh, that means that you'll have like a KD ratio going on here. Okay. So I think that's what I'm doing. So the first thing I'm doing is I'm hooking up my source text to a slider control, which will allow me to really quickly kind of just animate sort of between numbers that are going to add up in an interesting way. So that means I've now got bring, like that, right? So that's adding up. I'm compelled to use a kind of mono, like input mono type of thing. So I'm going to use input mono bold. And I feel like if what we're doing is the KD ratio of this for non-gamers out there, Kyle, I guess we better say that is the kills to deaths ratio. If there are any noobs, don't watch this program. Okay, so we're gonna have like a K above here, right? And then we will just go ahead and duplicate that, which will give me the letter D, and then this will be a separate number, but these I'm going to have split off of the other side like that. So now we've got, I don't know, a little sportso graphic here, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of working. Oh, should I also have this expressed as a percentage underneath? As the actual ratio.
I mean, you got a little over 15 and a half minutes to figure out
Oh,
whatever
okay.
you want it to
Oh,
be.
I've got so
So,
much time. Okay, so let's see. Let's go from 6 up to 13 or something like that. But, I've got the ability to kind of animate these as I'd like, right? So they're, I can have fun with those doing things and going places and wobbling all over the place. So we make useful graphics here on the program. Um, oh, some pie chart FUI. Oh, this
yeah,
is Kyle. This is good. I like when the
it
chat
is.
does
Yeah.
our work for us. This is
Hmm.
perfect. Okay,
It
because
helps give you something to look at.
well, the problem with numbers is because in the future numbers have been made a crime, and where letters a letter crime is punishable by death, but a number crime gets you exiled to the moon. So what I need to do is produce. Let's get an ellipse going here, and we're gonna give this a stroke, which will be great. And so let's go 100 by 100 and make this 100. Maybe if this was larger, something like this, I guess,
Hmm.
right?
I like where it's going.
Yeah. So this is, I mean, it's looking kind of like a target. It's looking like something, but the important part is I need to add a Trimothy paths into this. And trim paths, obviously, it expresses itself in a percentage type of deal. So let's get some variable k, and then we're going to need variable d. And then the output is going to be like k plus d will give us the total, and then I'm just going to divide by one of them. So let's just make sure that we are indeed linking these bad boys up here. Da, 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 da. This is the D slider, not to be confused with D Snyder, a very different thing. So thing, disparaging. Okay, and oh, you know what?
From the chat, the Anda Who is getting vibes of Skype call with the client while he demands screen share. How do we keep our heartbeat so low? It's because there are no stakes here. Um, if we fail too horribly, we could literally just delete this from the interwebs forever.
Well,
But
that's true, but I don't know.
there's something to be gained. Our failure will probably be more entertaining for you than if we succeed. So
Okay, yeah, well, I mean, the other thing to remember is that we're professionals, so don't try this at home, right? Like, that's,
actually do try this at home. These kinds of creator exercises are great.
oh, yeah, that's true. Download the project files, do it yourselves.
At motiondesignhotline.com, which is in fact a real website for real people.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got D, like deaths divided by K. This is obviously not the most usable graphic, but it is responding, right? And it is kind of, or I don't know, did I want to do a percentage of the total? I don't know, because that would be D plus K.
We got about 12 minutes.
Okay, and then we'll divide by K. That's nets. I think I just did the exact same thing. No, wait. Oh, where'd Bethurko go? Well, that's no darn good. Undo. I'm just gonna leave it like this because it is responding. It's doing some Greblows. So that's we've got
Yeah, I don't know that you need to worry about it being super accurate right now. It's more for style.
yeah style points. Okay, so we've got this element. We've got a KD elements, which are good. So that's coming up. Everything's coming up, Evan, except that he has to compete in a deadly game where he's destroyed at the end. Now, let's get cyberpunky with it, right? Let's. I guess I tend to kind of kind of cheap out sometimes. Like I want an adjustment layer that is like monitor styling, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, or maybe I don't want to do the monitor styling in here. I'll do it somewhere else. But the general idea of what I want to do with this is a mosaic type of pattern on here. Oop, not that. Not the preset, but the stylizing mosaic.
Mm-hmm.
And just a number of kind of horizontal blocks and then a number of vertical blocks. And what can be kind of helpful with this sort of thing sometimes is to do it bad. So right now it is like 160 by 90 would give us squares.
Mm-hmm.
But if we just reduce this so that they're,
Yeah, get your ratio a little bit off.
yeah, in the future square pixels. We've gone back. We've gotten rid of square pixels. We've returned for some reason. Okay, so we're at 320 by 90, and then yeah, you guessed it, we're going with a grid on top of this thing to kind of slice up in between. So we'll use like that now. Ponderances. I'm trying to think of. I would need to use sort of. Need to use width and height sliders, and so in this case, it is what? It's 1920 divided by 320. That should give us that, and then the height is going to be 1080 divided by 90, and that should give us this type of a deal, right? So now it looks like little lights, which I gotta say, that's working out for me. We're gonna use sharp colors on that, yeah, because that'll lock them into it instead of being kind of brokened up. But that is working out pretty nicely for me. Now the grid on
pixels are also rationed in this future.
We only they call them picks like
Yep.
and they're trading picks for script or whatever. Your money is not interchangeable because you're only paid in company script. Okay. These bleak futures, Kyle, they're so good. I think I might actually avoid doing glitching stuff. I was thinking of doing glitch stuff, but I do want to do some glows. Do I want to do glows? No. I'm going to pre-compose this. So I'm just going to call that the graphics. And then we're going to make a few of them. And I tend to like to do glows in this way. Anyway, if you're using like additive modes, you probably need to put a solid underneath everything, just to kind of catch the light that's going to fall on it. That's a little tip from me to everybody else. So we could use just like a Gauss in the house style blur, which is going to help bring up some of that, some of the idea that this is glowing. All right.
As the glow effect is really just a blur and then adding the thing on top of itself.
Yeah, it's just a series of blurs. But what I want to do is really mess with the horizontal and then vertical sort of blurriness of this stuff. So this one's going horizontal, and then I'm going to put a blur on this one that is going vertical, and then because if our pixels aren't correct, then why should anything else be? Why should we expect anything else to be correct? And then we'll just do a little overall on this one. Now the other thing that's kind of fun is that because we've sort of broken this up into these different areas or these different kind of types of glowiness that we're trying to push out of this, you can then drop down like individual tints on them. So let's make this one, what's a nice cyberpunky color? Like greens usually, right?
Yeah.
Fine. Like
greens, pinks, anything kind of neon-y.
Oh, and well, I was going to say we either live in like a yellow screen future or a green
Hmm.
screen future. Like, I guess it depends on whether you're a Commodore or Tandy, I think, is kind of
Yeah.
the dividing line on that. Or Matrix, you know, you could think about Matrix, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with like a teal. I'm gonna go with a tealy blue type of deal on this one. So the horizontal one's going kind of teal, and then the vertical one. Let's see if we bring that. Well, now it seems like Christmas, so that's incorrect. But you know, we maybe bring this one a little bit more onto the green side. Or if you want to think about these like they are actual like diodes, right? If they're or
Hmm.
they're actually like
Yeah. Yeah.
one of them's doing the green thing and then the other one's doing the blue thing, and then the final thing over top is going to be the red thing, right? That's what we're
I
going
like that.
to end up with. That's at least true to how monitors work in our world, you know, before the cataclysm, of course. Before the first Butlerian uprising. Any Dune heads? Okay, so this is kind of what I got. When you move away from it, you kind of
Mhm.
lose it, right? You're starting to lose some of the thing. So I
Yeah,
wonder.
I mean, it's definitely still got some pixely vibe to it. You
Yeah.
have about 4.5, by
Okay.
the way.
I'm gonna just kind of bring the. I'm gonna bring the opacities up on these things so we can get a little bit more of them. And you know, it's not cyberpunk if it doesn't flicker and be bad. So we'll at
Yeah.
least do that, which I will try to accomplish here with. We're gonna posterize down to 8. And then we are going to give me a random number. No, give me a numware somewhere between say 30 and 60, and then I'll just copy and paste that onto those. So now you can kind of see that it's getting a little bit of
Yeah.
flickering happening to it like that, but the one that comes over the top of the whole thing is staying pretty consistent. So there we go. We got this thing going on. Let's go back into the graphics, and I'm just going to, with these sliders here, I think, I mean, the number has to always be going up, right? Well, maybe not. Maybe in this future, you can actually stop accruing deaths and you can go backwards. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think what I might do is actually just, again, I'm just going to use um, I can use wiggle. Can I use wiggle on just a value?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean it needs
Well,
wiggle.
I'm having trouble seeing what property you're on there, but
Oh, I'm just on
um,
a slider.
oh, then yeah, you absolutely
Yeah,
can.
it's happy with that. Okay, so we'll do that. We'll wiggle it 10-2 on these. So these are kind of bouncing around. Actually, you know what? Let's go bigger jumps like that, and definitely um, on this whole thing, we're just going to put a posterize on that, or
Hmm.
no, posterize time is what we want. There we go. So posterize that down to like 4. So the score is not updating all the time, but it is updating a lot of the time, and you might even just do something like this where we are going to.
Hmm.
I'm gonna do a little bit like, let's say this one is like at 100, and then this one is a little bit smaller. This one's a little bit smaller still, and then this one's even smaller, and that's producing this really fun kind of
Yeah.
depth vibe out of the whole thing. And hey, you've got to get your. Don't worry if you thought we were gonna leave glow. If you thought we were going to put our glow lights under a bushel, you are wrong. I'm just going to add it in at the end so that we can get a nice unifying glow on top of everything coming up here. And there we go.
Hmm.
That is Evan's cyberpunk sports graphics.
Yeah. I like that.
How does the D reduce? Yeah, resurrection. They in the cyberpunk future, we discover that actually Hinduism was the one true religion, which is pretty crazy. No, it's done through horrifying technology. You just wake up in a new body with a whole bunch of debt. I'm sure Altered Carbon was making a statement about something, but who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, good people, this is my submission. Kyle's gonna make his for you, but this is what I.
And then those two things will fight to the death.
Exactly. Yeah, as is decreed. Hey, Umacord, how are you doing? And I know people are saying a thanks for the tutorials and everything. You know, very very welcome. I'm always thrilled when people, you know, any of the content that we make that it enriches people's lives. We're obviously a bit more onto the entertainment side, but I think we solve real problems on this show too.
Yeah, well, you know, I think what we do is take this stuff that can tend to be rather dry sometimes as you get kind of deep and technical and nerdy, and make that more palatable by making it silly. So that's the thing that I particularly want to continue to lean in on.
Yeah.
And if it helps people watch the thing and learn little tips like that you can use posterized time inside an expression, as well as using the effect on layers or on adjustment layers, then, you know, picking up tips.
Yeah, and you know, we take a dry thing and we put sauce on it. That's what we're here to do. We're a couple of sauce boys. Speaking of, Kyle, we're gonna have a look at your screen.
Okay. Well, I was gonna go with laser kill, but sauce boys really. I kind of like that.
Sauce boys is a laser kill team, obviously.
Yeah. So I kind of like the idea, and I'll just say, you know, up front, yes, I do kind of get the benefit of having watched Evan do this. I'm going to go a different direction, but I can't not come up with ideas while he's going.
Right.
But, it is what it is.
Yeah. You just have the maybe it actually kind of taints your stuff, right? Because you have to be in conversation with this thing that happened before. So what are you thinking? What kind of text, sports text are you doing?
So I think I'm going to do a crowd prompt for laser kill, like to celebrate that a laser kill has happened.
Streak.
Yeah. Am I running here?
Yeah, we're on your screen.
Okay. Well, I meant timer wise.
Oh, dang. Oopsie. Hold on.
I mean, I can run it on my end.
Then I gotcha. You're on 20.
Okay. So I'm going to use a board kind of like this to make something for a laser kill. You know, that is an event that happens in this game. And so let's go ahead and just get that on screen. We can stylize it in a minute.
Oh, so there's like an arena, and one of the things is a combatant could be pushed into the laser field. Of course.
And then we've got the Sauce Boys, who are the ones who have either scored this or suffered this. We'll decide that in a minute. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that I'm going to do is figure out a typeface for this.
Yeah.
I've got this one that. Yeah. Perfect.
Oh, that looks like Alien, right?
A little bit. It's called Ailerons. I got it off Adobe Stock, or not Adobe Stock, off of Behance, actually, many moons ago. But I do think it has a nice, like, futuristic vibe to it, and I think works well here.
Yeah, that's something the Tyrell Corporation would put on their letterhead.
Yep. So let's see. And then there's my Sauce Boys. We'll crunch that down. Maybe kind of put that down here. That feels like that's kind of a nice signifier. Maybe I'll center that up a little bit more. We'll dress this up in a second here. I'm just kind of like figuring out what I'm even doing.
Yeah.
Now I think a laser kill is an event, so this is something that the crowd is going to celebrate. You know, like they would a touchdown or something like that.
Yeah.
So this is kind of a little thing to prompt them. Let's, of course, start off with our old friend opacity flicker, because that's how you know that something has happened here.
Right.
So let's just...
If you're not causing a mild stroke to the to the at-home audience.
I'm going to just kind of like do a little bit of like two frame flicker on here and then make those hold keyframes and just see how that. I think I might be, yeah, here. I'm at a little bit lower frame rate, so let me bump that up.
I like that. This will loop all the way around the heptagon. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Each side of the heptagon representing one of the corporate sponsors slash global superpowers. All different. In the future, war is of course obsolete, and we only have laser kill. It's
Yeah,
in some ways a blessing,
some ways.
except for being drafted into laser kill. But other than that,
Right. Yeah.
only one child from each district. That's a
Well,
boon.
granted the sweet mercy of death, then.
Yes, the living envy the dead in laser kill.
Okay, so we got that coming on. So laser kill's going to come up, and then I think let's go ahead and center this so that we can. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and bust out that thing that I showed us earlier, just to center up that anchor point. Where'd you go? Oh, it somehow went on to position instead.
This could turn into a religion. Please take this seriously. Yeah, we do have to be. We have to always be mindful that if archaeologists only discover this piece of ephemera from this time, it could really, really alter history textbooks. It's pretty
Well,
critical.
that's seems like their problem, honestly.
That sounds like a them problem, not a me, my brain in a jar problem.
Yeah. So,
Well, while you're working through that stuff,
yep,
I was going to ask, like, have you done a lot of stadium graphics and that kind of
quite a
stuff?
bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I know you do like a lot of big and strange screen
Yeah.
stuff.
I am no stranger to live event graphics, which is kind of why I submitted the earlier concept of something that's like more of a support role because these are hero elements, but a lot of times you make things that are you're actually kind of wanting to reinforce without taking over,
Right.
which is in itself kind of an interesting vibe sometimes. So there we go. Okay, so I'll kind of talk through what I was doing here. I made a text animator to push the tracking, and then I'm pushing the scale a bit as well. I thought I'd like that offset, but I do not. Um, just kind of playing with this here. I don't know. I do think offset might be the way to go, but it needs to sort of like be offset the right way. I'm using this plugin over here. This extension over here is called Flow. It's from my friend Zach Lovett. Just gives you access to some nice animation curves quickly.
Yeah, I mean, this type of time pressure really does. It behooves us to show off some of our corner
It
cutting
does.
powers.
Yeah.
That are
I'm gonna.
pretty essential when you're when you're going to be working under really tight time constraints. I did some graphics for the I guess it is the FedEx. Maybe it's still the FedEx Arena that were is for a pest control company that they wanted bugs to crawl over all of the screen, and I think it really upset a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't think that they actually want that.
Well, no, see,
They
they're
might
the
think that
they're
they
the
do.
hero that the bugs crawl over the screen, and then the logo comes and smashes all of the bugs. Now, it did, I think it caused kind of a brief moment of terror for some people. But they should probably they're primed to want the termite removal service already, right?
I guess that's kind of awful. Okay, so what I'm setting up here is we're establishing that a laser kill has happened, and then who has scored the point, I guess.
Yes.
We'll kind of establish that better in a second. Let's see, kind of trying to decide. I think Sauce Boys comes on, and then let's kind of steal that little flicker, modify that a bit here. Nudge these over a bit, and let's see what we've got. Kind of drop down, back to Hundo, and And that just, nothing works quite right. So we've got some flickery stuff sometimes. Let's see how we're doing.
And I'll give you your 12-minute warning here.
Okay.
We're 12
You
minutes
do
remaining.
that. Yeah, you go ahead and do that. Being that we are in the future here, I feel like we're going to need some boxes to help put things on. And this being the future, a very pointy sport, I feel like we're going to need some skew. I think this way.
All interfaces must have
Yeah.
60-degree angle cuts taken out of everything.
I'm going to go that way. And we'll kind of just parent that to the text. Let's see if that goes far enough off screen. Not quite, so we'll just adjust that. And there we go. Okay, so this laser kill, I'm going to let this sit for a second, but then what's actually going to happen is this is kind of a little looping thing. It's probably only going to be about maybe 6 seconds or so. So I think we're going to have a laser shoot across the screen and actually kind of get rid of this as our loop point.
Right.
So let's see what we can do with that. Let's just use our old pal, the shape layer, because I think I can style that, and this will be a little easier to work with.
Pew!
Trying to think if I want to use a trim paths, because I'm probably going to use like a mat here to like kind of slice through the text so that maybe the top part can fly off the top of the screen and the bottom part can fly off the bottom. So I might not want to use trim paths because that's going to be a little trickier to deal with. Tell you what, let's go ahead and set up this animation of this coming off. So let's do a position animator.
While you're doing that, I'll say hello to Gabriella. Welcome to the show, where today we're really under time constraints to produce some excellent graphics. Hopefully you are enjoying the madness as we do. What was I gonna say? There was like I don't know, like for some laser things, like it happens, and then the person who got lasered, they don't even know that it happened yet, right? So it's kind of like, bzz, and then they kind of like when a samurai chops someone, slide in half.
Okay, so that's a good prompt because the laser can go across and then it sort of like falls away. I like that. So I had to kill my earlier. Oops. Gone down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. I had to kill my earlier expression because that's going to prevent me from doing the text animation that I want.
Yes,
so I'm going to go ahead and push this off the bottom of the screen.
That's right, Theo. This is the coyote principle, in which you are only affected by physics when you acknowledge them. It is.
There we go. So I'm using the ramp shape in my text animator so that I can kind of do this situation. And let's go ahead and just see how we can kind of like, we'll do that one manually. Want to really kind of ease into that. So let's see what this looks like, just to kind of experiment with it. Not great, but we'll get it to great. Let's just really push that. So, I mean, we'll see. My plan here is to, and I don't want to chop this yet, but I'm going to chop this into 2 layers so that I can have kind of a top and bottom split going on here. But I don't really want to do that until I figure out my timing. Speaking of timing, how much do I have left?
Well, you've got 8 minutes, and shout out to a reference to this type of thing happening in the movie Underworld. What is it, Underworld?
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, those movies rule. I don't care who hears it. They got Bill Nighy in there. So
yeah, man, he just eats it up.
The Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy himself. Or I guess he's
Okay.
Smiley in that movie. Anyway, this.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and animate the end property here, and then I'm going to go ahead and animate the start property to chase it, so we can have a little bit of an uneven laser blast here that like sort of changes over its life. So let's see how we're doing here. So laser kill pew, needs to happen a little earlier.
This is
Just
reminding me
as
so much of like Rob Liefeld comic books. Like that.
mm,
This has a definite aesthetic to it.
okay, so around maybe around here where it goes off, that's where we can actually start. Oh, and I think we already are. We can have our thing fall down. Oh, good. This is what I want to be up on the mainstream, of
Yeah, yeah,
course.
yeah, yeah. Well, there's only like 70 people watching, so it's
Yeah,
80,
well,
90.
that's good.
Yeah.
Hi, people. I hope you're enjoying. We're doing our random kind of not a roulette thing today, I guess, but
No, this is brought to us by the Concept-O-Tron 3000.
Concept-O-Tron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I don't have time to think about
Exactly. Yeah,
names
yeah.
right now. I'm busy.
You focus on that. I'll tell the good people what we're doing. We are having a bit of a time crunch. Kyle and I are having a little dueling pianos here, where we each take the same prompt and we take all of 20 minutes to deliver on it. So we are both delivering some excellent sports type graphics, some cyberpunk sports team text treatments is what we're bringing to you today. So I already did mine, but Kyle's in the middle of his, so he's just wrapping up. And then we will see. I don't know. We'll have so many people to vote on which one they find to be the best. So we will.
I guess I didn't know that this was going to be a competition. Now I'm finding it extremely.
In the future, life is a competition.
Yeah. So I'm kind of seeing if I can sort of ballpark dial in this fall away a little bit better. I'm not sure. Maybe it needs to happen a little more slowly. I'm not sure if I'm going to get there with just the straight ramp, but I don't think I want to bother with something more complicated with the amount of time we have. So I think I'll live with that.
Right.
So what I do need is a little slice and half thing here. So let's just make a quick mat and be good and name our layers since I'm not color coding anything. I like to turn my mats to none. So this is the top version, and we'll go ahead and track mat that to that shape I just made. And we'll track mat the bottom one to that shape I just made, and then call it the inverse. But that can't happen until here. So what if we just chop that and then make this one no mat? That kind of solves all of those problems in a way that I would not normally do. But that's not going to do what I want. Yeah, I want it to actually like be sliced, but I'm gonna have to.
What if? Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like pre-comp that and actually do this with. I don't think I could do this with text animators.
No. You got four minutes though, so make it cheap.
Well, you know what? This is how it's gonna work, and we're just gonna deal with it. So let's start kind of dialing in. Well, okay. So after this laser goes across, we need a little bit of a trail so that we see that line, right? That's going to be just a wee bit there because we want to be able to see that something did in fact go across here. So I want to get rid of that. There we go. You can kind of see that slice. I wonder what's going to happen here, if that'll help sell it at all. It's just going to be what it is.
Yeah.
Not great.
The slice is happening perpendicular to our view, not horizontally to our view.
Yeah. There you go. Okay, so we need some kind of background for this. We're in this kind of dystopian future, so I think you know where I'm going here.
Is it a grid?
Yeah, it's a grid.
Is
I
this some
mean,
kind of
look,
lethal holodeck? Are we?
yeah. We're going to go ahead and turn this into a 3D layer, and let's, kind of push this back here. I'm just going to use
The safeties are
scale to
off
do
for some reason.
the safeties. Why do you build safeties into the system if you can't even
Why do you
ever keep them maintained?
why do you build the ability for a holodeck to kill somebody?
Look, it was a design choice that was made, and we just have to. Since you said holodeck, I'm fun with that. Um, okay, so that's going to have to become way less ugly, but um, let's see. I think we need ourselves maybe a gradient of some kind.
Oh, some
I
people
don't
are
know why I'm
feeling
using a
Johnny
solid.
Quest vibes out here.
Oh yeah. Um, Gosh, let's see. I should probably just do this.
I always think it's weird that Star Trek has a sport that's like Parisi squares that injures 90% of the people that play it. It is good that they never show us what the sport looks like. We just see people like walking around with the gear in order to play the game.
Now,
But
now, which game is this?
so Parisi squares is the one they talk about in Star Trek a lot. Not to be confused with Ambo Jitsu, another totally crazy thing that they talk about.
Yeah. The thing that's popping into my mind is the racquetball-esque game that O'Brien and Bashir play.
Yeah, they're insane,
Um,
like multi-dimensional squash.
yes, yes. Where, eventually we realize that Bashir's been holding back because he is, of course, genetically enhanced.
Yeah, he's an illegally
Sorry,
modified human.
spoilers. Yeah.
Spring
Um,
ball, there you go. Played some spring ball down on the promenade. Oh, to live in Star Trek. Okay,
what have I got left here?
you got
Probably
you
not
got a minute
enough.
left on the clock.
Oh boy. Okay. So let's see what I can do here. This is gonna be not quite what I was hoping for, but whatever is, right? That's not where I meant to do that. So I want to just kind of offset this a bit because that's something, right? Maybe bring both of these down a bit. Okay, so I was hoping, boy, that has gone so off the rails. Let's make that dark grid.
Oh boy,
And,
my computer just
yeah,
made an ominous bong. That signals to me
I
that
think I'm out of time.
we've hit time.
Um, so, I mean, it's kind of something. It sucks pretty bad. I think I'd like to stylize this quite a bit more. I would ideally give it some of the, some of that pixely treatment that you were after. And, I think I would need to kind of rethink how I get rid of the type here.
Right.
Which would be more annoying than doing it with a text animator. But for a quick thrown together concept, I'm okay with what happened.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah.
The other, like, it's tough with these things because we're making like a retro future. So
Yeah.
it like, I guess bowling graphics need to be our touchstone, right? Like that's the level that we need to be thinking about. But Kyle, I think you did a great job, especially given the time constraints
Thanks.
and the constant heckling. So good.
I like what Theo said here. It's okay. We developed some lore, and that's
Yeah.
what matters. I agree. Yeah.
It's world building, baby.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like listening to us do world building, you should listen to our podcast. It's great. Creatures and Creatives. Check it out. You 90 people.
The episodes are extremely current.
Oh, yeah. And they're edited with such alacrity. So, so good folks. We're gonna get on the two shot here. We have created some stuff. Now comes to the point of the show where we'll kind of like, we said what we're gonna do. We did the thing. Now we're gonna say what we did, and that'll be the end of it. So, Kyle, I better run people through the thing that I brought to the party today.
Yeah. Some of them may not have seen it.
Exactly. They didn't get to see this. So my sports graphic is declaring the KD ratio of a current match. I don't know if it would be used in this size. Like it may be sort of like supposed to be crunched down or only show up like.
Yeah, it's like a little corner bug or something.
Yeah.
Can I make one suggestion?
Yeah.
You could change that D to an E.
Oh. Well, what's the E stand for?
Evan.
Oh, that's true. It's the Kyle to Evan ratio.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
In the future. They call it getting Evaned. So there we go. We got the K to E ratio going on. This is a type of game where you can both gain and lose points, obviously. And this is a little marker kind of showing the push and pull between the two sides, basically. So 78 and then 14 is what that is kind of showing us. But I've separated it out and made this kind of holographic looking vibe to it.
I like the stylization that you were able to put on the
yeah.
there.
I feel like this works out, pretty nicely, and it having the kind of multiple flickering sort of between. So I'll just give us like 5 seconds of this to enjoy maybe. But yeah. And folks want to see the expressions that we're talking about, so that's definitely possible.
I mean, you could show it real quick, but I think the best thing is that we put project files, and these are great because these don't contain anything that we can't share. So on motiondesignhotline.com, if you wait, probably 15, 20 minutes after the show, the rewatch will be up along with these project files. So you'll be able to dig into them yourself and see every little expression and copy paste it and do whatever you like.
That's right. motiondesignhotline.com, a real website for real people. But yeah, that's what we got. And there's going to be a lot of expressions to enjoy in there. This kind of flickering thing. That's what I brung to the party for y'all. Now we'll go over to Kyle's screen for a laser kill.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like maybe I spent a little too long. I don't know. 20 minutes goes very fast. I consider this a little bit more of a concept sketch than a finished stylized element.
Right.
I think the fact that I kind of cornered myself into like needing a background and stuff, that was a little bit of extra time I needed to spend on it. I would like to, I think the text definitely needs some more style to it, and then the whole thing overall needs some more. Some glow, some pixely, like you need to get it a little bit more into that world. But as kind of a start, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I think as a crowd prompt, it's lacking some energy. Honestly, we need to have there needs to be like several lasers shooting across the screen before we get the laser kill. Yeah, you got to really play that up.
Yeah, or maybe like a thicker, cracklier type of jolt that goes across. But yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think it's good. Good people of the chat, you let us know if you like laser kills or KE ratios. I guess just write kill and ratio in the thing.
I mean, if I had a vote, I would pick yours for what it's worth.
But don't worry, folks. We will be returning to this concept, I'm sure, for all of its anxiety inducement. And we'll be changing out a bunch of the stuff that we put into the rotation as our various tastes and memes sort of shift over time. But we are back at you. We're back at you next week. On the 13th, where we are going to be taking things into a whole other dimension. We're going to be doing some 3D stuff next week, right?
Yeah. We have a project that I put together that has a lot of different stuff in it. We're still, and again, you can kind of help tell us, but we have some editing to After Effects workflow. We have animating some text, creating some Mogerts, the new RotoBrush tool, 3D elements in After Effects, integrated with footage. There's a lot going on there, so we can kind of dig into the things that you want or that we want if you don't tell us. So,
and that's right. It's going to be another saucy one next week.
Extremely saucy.
Yeah, that's what we do here on the show. If you want more of Evan and Kyle in your life, you can find me at EC Abrams all over the internet. You find Kyle at Kylosaurus Rex. Those handles are below our faces. We're on, what are we on? We're on Twitter while it's still with us. We are on Instagram, as long as the algorithm keeps serving things. Threads, we're trying to make a go on Threads. Find us on there if you like a thread. Is there anywhere else that we're around? On here, find us
I'm on LinkedIn sometimes when I feel like it. I mean... We exist on the interwebs. You can find us, I think.
That's true. We're on all the places. We're everywhere you want to be. And we want you to be here next week. So we hope that we see you on here then.
And by here, we mean the real Adobe.
Yeah. We're on the Adobe Live. You're gonna like it. It's gonna be great. Cool, man. Well, Kyle, thanks for playing with me. Thanks for playing a game. And
thanks for putting together that cool rig.
Always, man. Always. All right. So we'll see you all next week. Till then, stay creative, be kind to each other, and we'll see you all around the internet. And then I try to find the out button.